guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Favor and I'm a lifestyle content creator living in Manitoba, Canada. If this is your first time here, you're definitely welcome. Please subscribe so you can join our family. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming when I post new videos. In this video, I'll be talking about finding accommodation and all you need to know about accommodation searches. So if you want to hear all I have to say, definitely keep on watching. The first thing is to figure out what you want in a place. So how many bedrooms do you want? You know, what's your budget? What neighborhood are you looking to stay in? Like, these are questions that you need to have answers to before you start your accommodation search. The other thing is to even just go online and see what options are available. I mean, there are a lot of resources online. However, I'm bringing this video your way because I get a lot of questions about this. But yeah, definitely go online and see what's available online. That way you also have an idea of what budget is realistic, because I get a lot of questions about accommodation, and you know, as you already know, it's something that I also do for people here. I help people find accommodation here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. But a lot of times, you know, when we start talking, I find out that some people, not everybody, but some people don't have realistic budgets just because maybe they've not done their research properly and all of that. Again, that's why we exist. So we're here to, you know, like explain and share all of the information that you need with you. But it's also good to have an idea of what, you know, the going rates are or what the going prices are. That way, you know, you have a realistic expectation on what to find, and that way I don't have to do too much explanation. Okay, but yeah, if you want to reach out to me, I'm also here to help. Since we're talking about budget, I'll share a guide I often share with people that reach out to me. Another thing that is important for accommodation search is you need to have a deposit. So a lot of people are familiar with this, but I also have people that are not familiar with this. So you need to pay a security deposit to hold a room. So this security deposit is pretty much for the landlord to hold as security. Look at it, is if you damage your property, you probably not get that money back, or you not get most of the money back, because you damage your property and they need money to, you know, fix whatever damage you made. So yeah, it's just something to think about. So as long as you don't make any damage and you obey all the rules of the landlord, because different landlords have different rules, right? Some landlords don't have rules. Most times, as long as you keep to the rules of the landlord you choose to stay with, you probably get your deposit back, and as long as you don't damage your property, right? So there's that. Now, this deposit is usually half of a month's rent. Every now and then I'll find, you know, a landlord that would request for 1 full month upfront, and they mostly do this with new immigrants. I guess for them it's more about security, and some of them they feel because you don't have a job here in Canada, it might be harder for them. But most of the times we're able to get places for people where they just accept the, you know, half month rent and they're okay. But yeah, that's standard with most landlords, and most landlords will not even ask for, you know, the other part. So there's that. Another thing to have in mind is landlords would sign lease agreements, right? So those lease agreements could range anywhere from a month to month, so a 6-month lease agreement, or even 1 year. I find a lot of places where they require you to sign a 1-year lease agreement. The thing with the 1-year lease agreement is that yes, you're signing a lease for 1 year, but you don't have to pay for 1 year upfront, because a lot of people get worried when I tell them that they have to sign a 1-year lease agreement. So you're signing a 1-year lease agreement, meaning you would continue to be their tenant for 1 year, but your rent is still expected to be paid monthly. So every month you'll be expected to pay your rent, but you're just expected to be their tenant for 1 year. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, if you have any questions, by all means, you know, send me a DM on Instagram, reach out to me via email. My email is always in the description box, or just drop it in the comment section and I'll respond. But yeah, the expectation is you stay with them for 1 year, but your rent is meant to be paid on a monthly basis. The thing about a month to month as opposed to a 1-year lease agreement is a 1-year lease agreement, if you're moving out, you have to find a replacement, or even after moving out, you're still expected to pay them for the remaining part of your lease. But with the month to month, all you need to do is give your landlord 1 month's notice and you're good to go. So yeah, that's that. So you definitely need a security deposit, and you need to pay your rent, and you might be expected to sign a lease agreement. So yeah, don't worry about the lease agreement, you'll be okay regardless of the option that you find. I feel like as long as you find a place that you like and you're happy with, you'll be good to go. The other thing too is, a lot of times if you feel like you don't want a place, you can always sublet, and sublet just means you're finding a replacement to take over the rest of your lease, so you can go and you don't have to keep paying them every month. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, that's it. So that's that for deposits and you know, lease agreements. The other thing is rent is due on the 1st of each month. So yeah, Your landlord will not hear stories. If you're not faithful with your rent, at some point they'll kick you out, and you really don't want to be stranded, especially in the winter. So just have that at the back of your mind. This will lead me to my next point. So for new immigrants, like moving to Canada, I often suggest booking your flights towards the end of the month or early in the month. That way, as you arrive, you can move into your place. Say you booked at the beginning of the month, and then you're not paying for a place that you didn't stay in, right? Because most landlords will charge you from the beginning of the month to the end of the month. So I would use January, for example. They will charge from January 1st to January 31st. So that's the duration. So if you book your flight for the 2nd of January, right, then you could arrive on the 2nd or the 3rd, depending on where you're coming from. That way you're paying for most of the month, right, and you're good. However, if you're booking, mid-month or for the 20th, some landlords might discount it and charge you half a month, while some wouldn't. The problem with that is not all landlords would prorate the rent, and most landlords will not hold the place for you if you're not going to rent the place immediately. One way to look at it is it's all about the money for landlords, right? So they're not going to hold the place for you if you haven't paid for the place. So for people that really like places, sometimes if you're coming mid-month, you might have to just pay for the whole month, even if you only be there for half of the month, right? But yeah, if you really like the place, I guess it's worth it. If not, just have it at the back of your mind that a lot of landlords would not hold a place for you, and you might have to look for a place for the following month, or you look for a place where the landlord would prorate the rent, which is not always guaranteed. Because just look at it from a business perspective, right? If they see someone that's willing to pay January 1st to January 31st, why would they hold the place for you and charge you just half month? So for them, it's like a loss. Again, every once in a while, we will find places where the moving date is mid-month, but not always. So just have it at the back of your mind. If you really like a place, you might have to pay for the month ahead, or just book your flights towards the end of the month, and then that way, even if you find temporary accommodation, you're not paying for so many days up front, or arrive a few days into the month. That way you can move straight into your accommodation, and you're not paying for a place where you didn't stay in. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope that helped. Yeah, that's that for rent. The next thing would be websites to check for accommodation. So you can definitely check out Kijiji.ca, you can check out rentals.ca, you can check out Facebook Marketplace, you can check out rentboard, you can check places for students. So places number 4, students. So those are websites to help you with the accommodation search. I'll list them out in the description box so you can see how they're spelled and you can actually check them out. So there's that. We're also here to help you with the accommodation search, so reach out if you need assistance in that area. The other thing I want to quickly talk about is how to go about the searches. So I would use Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji, for example, right? So when you're doing the search, you want to ensure that your location is set to the area that you're looking for. So I'll use Winnipeg, for example. So you want to ensure that your location is Winnipeg. You can also add filters, right? So the kind of place you're looking for. So like, a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom. Then you can also add like your price range, so like your budget, right? So that way it will bring out things that fall in that category for you, and then you can start reaching out to landlords. So you can always just text them like, oh hi, is this available, and ask a few questions, and then ask if you can do a viewing. If you're not here in Winnipeg, you can ask for virtual viewings, and a lot of landlords are friendly and a lot of them would help you. I prefer not to give out so much information. Like I wouldn't just via text like tell every single landlord that, oh hey, I'm not yet here in Canada and all of that. I prefer to have that conversation over the phone. So like you have that, would I say, friendly relationship. Again, it doesn't work for every landlord. Some of them would expect you to give details about yourself before moving. Like I've had landlords that I would reach out to, and then their response is, tell me a little bit about yourself. How I answer that question usually depends on the dynamics. If I'm looking for a place for myself or for like someone, so I could say something like, hi, I'm checking for a place on behalf of a friend. She's moving to Winnipeg next month as an international student, and she's looking for a nice place to stay. So some of them would ask more probing questions. So it really depends on the question. It also depends on the landlord. Some of them would ask if you're going to be a student, if you're working. So you can also say like, oh yeah, I'm going to be studying at the University of Manitoba. You can add that in. But a lot of times I prefer to have those conversations in person or over the phone, because I feel like I'm able to do a little bit of negotiation. And the other thing is, a lot of times landlords want to meet who they're renting to. So I guess that's why I prefer to have that conversation over the phone, so we can build that relationship, and all of that. But it really depends on you. It really depends on the landlord. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. On to the next. Keep looking. There are landlords that don't mind. The other thing is, be careful, because there are a lot of scams out there. So just be careful. Try to do your due diligence. So yeah, do your research. But yeah, they would also require you to pay a deposit to hold the room. So without a deposit, they wouldn't hold the room for you. So that's just something to have in mind. But yeah, just pray that I don't meet the wrong person. And I think that'll be it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, as always, you can send me a DM on Instagram or send me an email. My email is always in the description, or you can drop it in the comment section and I'll respond. But yeah, I'll see you in my next video. But until then, stay safe and stay blessed. Bye.